Hello everybody, it's Cam, and today we're going to talk about a deck I've made for solo no hope that I think should make the game a little bit easier for you if you're struggling. And of course, this deck is going to be based around using Expired T5. Expired T5 is one of the strongest cards in the game right now, and in order to unlock it, you need to collect duffel bags in Act 5, so hopefully you have it unlocked. This card will disable your support slot, but when activated, it costs 50 AR ammo, and it will create a cloud around you that will do fire damage to weak spots to anything around you. Expired T5 mixed with Pyro and Hyper Focus is a really good mix because Pyro increases the damage Expired T5 does since it is doing fire damage, plus any Ridden that we kill using the Expired T5 is going to give us temporary health. Additionally, Hyper Focus will help because it increases weak spot damage by 50%. This does work with Expired T5, but it's also just a nice damage card to have in general. We are also going to take Tactical Vest. This card will give us 30% more rifle ammo, and it will increase our damage with assault rifles and LMGs by 10%. The important thing to note while using this deck is that you will need to take an AR or an LMG. The bots only drop you ammo for weapons that you're using, so we can get an infinite supply of AR ammo as long as we are using one. Up next, I put Patient Hunter into this deck. This is one of the best damage cards in the game, giving us up to 30% more damage when we aim down sights. Silver Bullet is also another solid damage card, giving us 10% bullet damage and 15% effective bullet range. Since we're going to need some kind of gun that uses AR ammo, I'm putting 2 as 1 and Admin Reload into this deck. This is because I don't think you necessarily want an AR or an LMG as your primary weapon with just a secondary backup, because then you'll be using AR ammo too fast and your bots won't be able to keep up with their infinite supply, since there is a cooldown on when they can give you ammo. Technically, you can take a Magnum and your bots will give you ammo, meaning you'll be able to take some other primary weapon, but I want this deck to work consistently, and if you can take 2 primary weapons, it is guaranteed that you will be able to pick up an AR in the safe room. Since we're taking Admin Reload, I highly suggest taking an LMG, because the biggest downside of an LMG is having to reload it, but we'll never need to, because when we're getting low, we can just switch to our other weapon. The next 3 cards are all based around copper. We have Copper Scavenger, Money Grubbers, and Lucky Pennies. Copper Scav works well when mixed with Money Grubbers, and it also works well when mixed with Lucky Pennies. Money Grubbers and Lucky Pennies don't interact with each other, but that doesn't really matter. Money Grubbers and Lucky Pennies also make you super rich whenever Cost of Avarice pops up, and with the boss not being able to pick up Corrupted Copper, it is guaranteed that you will get the max amount of money possible with the increasing stacks of Money Grubbers. I also wanted to take Money Grubbers and Lucky Pennies because both of these cards work well when we're abusing Dan. Dan is one of the best bots you can have in the game right now, because you will be getting buffs whenever your bots go down. One of the possible outcomes when picking up your bots is that a few piles of copper will spawn on the ground. Since we have Money Grubbers and Lucky Pennies, we are getting the most value out of this copper. I highly recommend that if you're struggling with the game, you reset until Dan is on your team, because you can abuse the fact that your bots get free, infinite uses of the health cabinet, which will restore their lives. If Dan is on your team, your main goal should be getting to this health cabinet, and that's why you should always take a toolkit. Once getting to the health cabinet, you can down your bots for as long as you want, picking them back up, and then ping the cabinet so they get their life back. They only have a cooldown of around a minute, which means you can keep doing this until you're rich and invincible. Now, most of Dan's buffs will go away on the next level, but the copper won't, so make sure you use and abuse it if you are struggling in the game. And like I said, you don't need to play as Dan. It is much better to have Dan as a bot. If you want to though, you can play as Dan. It just doesn't make a difference. I think playing as any of the other cleaners does make you stronger though. The only bot better than Dan right now, I think, is Hang. Keep in mind, when you're not playing as Dan, you will not be able to see Dan's buffs when looking at the card screen, which really isn't a big deal. Since we'll be counting on the bots going down to get buffs from Dan, I'm throwing Needs the Many into this deck. This will make it so the bots have 2 extra lives and you will have 1, which seemed like a perfect amount while playing through No Hope. I also noticed that they changed it, so on No Hope difficulty, if your bots have no lives at the end of a level, in the next level, they will have all the lives back. This makes offline no hope so much easier because now you don't need to worry about how many lives the bots have anymore. You mainly just have to worry about yourself with how much trauma you have and how many lives you have. But since you have Dan on your team, it is basically guaranteed you will have enough money to use a health cabinet if you need to. If you end up getting to a cabinet and you don't have enough health, just keep downing your bots until they spawn copper, and then you can use that copper to heal yourself. I can't stress enough how strong it is to have Dan and a bunch of bots. Last 3 cards I'm taking are Confident Killer, Mad Dash, and Cold Brew Coffee. If you did want to switch up this deck a little bit, put some of your favorite cards in here, I would say these last 3 are replaceable. I just wanted Confident Killer to give us an extra boost in damage, Mad Dash because I love having a little bit of speed. I think Run Like Hell is also another good pick, and then Cold Brew is just one of my favorite filler cards. If you are playing Act 1, you should switch out one of these cards for Headband Magnifier because use speed is incredibly important for that last level. That is my solo no hope deck. It has worked for me. I hope it will work for you. If you feel like you're not doing enough damage, you could throw Glass Cannon into this deck as well. Mixed with Needs of the Many, you will have negative 40% health, but I don't think it's that big of a deal since the bots have cards that are giving you health. The only issue is that there is a corruption card called Break Time that will make it so you only have 40 health if you have Glass Cannon. I think it's a bug right now and they're going to fix it, but that is the reason why I didn't want to take Glass Cannon. A few extra things to note. With this deck and this strategy, you're going to have a lot of copper, and I think buying armor in the shop at the start of the levels with your extra cash is a good idea. Like I said before, you should always buy a toolkit, and in your offensive slot, you should always take a flashbang. At least one boss mutation is going to spawn on every level, so having the flashbang is going to make things a lot easier. But yeah, anyways, that is it for this video. What do you think of this deck? What changes would you make? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe to see the next video or live stream we have on this channel. And until then, have a good one, everybody.